Hi, Center for Spiritual Living. This next song is called Dear December, and it's a song I wrote for the colder months of our year, but it's also a song about the value of being still and slowing down, and the value of going within. And I thought it would be a good one to offer during this spiritual time in our world. Dear December, your gray skies didn't see them in April's eyes. She was all hopes and good daydreams. Now it's darker, help me see the point of waiting, the point of standing still, the point of opening up to the chill, the point of losing and letting go, the point of choosing to let your heart come home. Dear December, end of years, rest in peace all you hopes and fears. Beneath chimneys, embers glow, some things bury and some things grow. Now it's colder, now I'm older, now I'm fuller grown. Now I'm trying to let my heart come home. Let my heart come home. We the lovers, we the friends, we the holders of hundreds of loose ends, we who stumble, we who fall. Dear December, you hold us all. We too busy to sing our songs, we who've wandered for far too long. While we're waiting, while we're standing still, taking time for our empty to refill. Dear December, just so you know, I am letting my heavy heart come home. I am letting my heavy heart come home. I am letting my heavy heart come home.
Thank you, Bobby Jo Valentine, for that beautiful music. It's a true gift to us. I appreciate that. And welcome everyone to the Center for Spiritual Living Santa Rosa Virtual. We realize that some people have had difficulties, challenges watching our broadcasts for a number of reasons, some of them beyond our control. So we've created options for you to connect with our message. And please feel free to share this information with others, with friends. Viewers can now go directly to our website, www.cslsr.org, and select Media from the menu at the top, and then Videos, and there you'll be able to see a pre-recorded message of today's service, and that will work seamlessly. It is so very good to be able to connect with our faith community. I realize I need it just as much as anybody else might need it. And I do want to begin, as I've been starting everything I do lately, with appreciation for our first responders, for medical professionals, and for people on the front lines who are maintaining the infrastructure of essential businesses like grocery store staff and delivery staff and truckers. And I also try to include in my heart and my prayers those who are unsheltered and those who've been impacted in their work and their income as a result. If you are visiting with us for the first time and you'd like to know more about the Center for Spiritual Living, you can find that out at our website at www.cslsr.org. Our center and our community is inspired by a vision of a healthy, loving world. It's called the Global Vision, and each week we read a small portion of it to remind ourselves of what it is that is calling us forward in the world. So please join me in reading this week's portion of the Global Vision. We see a world in which spiritual guidance is valued and where there is peace, harmony, and justice for all. It is time for us to move into the silence. So I invite you to take a breath in and exhale and allow yourself to settle down. I know it's tempting to multitask when you're on the internet, but I invite you to consider giving yourself a gift of this time, unencumbered by other activities, as if you were sitting together with me in the center physically. Just be present for that which is trying to announce itself in you. I'm certain that somewhere in between the music, the silence, the meditation, the message, the prayer, is exactly what your heart is seeking for the next step of your spiritual journey. After a moment of silence, practitioner Brenda Coburn will lead us in a spiritual mind treatment, which is affirmative prayer. Welcome.
Turning my attention now to that one infinite divine power and presence, the one life, the one wholeness, the one mind, the one that creates, sustains, empowers, inspires, and uplifts all of its creation, always. There is nothing separate from it. There is only this one, and we are one with it. Each one of us are contained within this divine mind, this wholeness that is the very essence of peace, power, balance, and order, and abundant good. I know that I am one with this power and presence, one with this all that is, and I know that each and every one of us is one with this divine presence. It connects us. We live within it, and we are never separate from it. And I know that as we are going through this unusual time in human history, that all of this is contained within the activity of divine mind. And I know that that infinite divine spirit, which creates everything and sustains everything, knows exactly what it is doing with us. And I know that as we are collectively forced to pause, that this is an opportunity for each of us to stop and reflect on who we are, on what's important to us, and to feel that connection with the divine that we are, and our connection to each other. Even though we may be more physically separated from each other than we're used to, we can become even more aware of how connected we are in spirit and how much we depend upon each other and on the whole. So I know that this time that feels perhaps uncomfortable is a gift. It's a gift to all humanity. And so we accept the gift and we make the most of it and we give thanks for it. So I'm grateful for that divine intelligence that knows what to do. And I'm grateful for that intelligence in each one of us that allows us to see it, to be grateful for it, and to move through this time of life feeling blessed, feeling grateful, and knowing that Spirit is in charge and all is truly well. And so it is. Hello, good morning. I'm Brenda Coburn, a prayer practitioner at the center. Please read with me today's affirmation from our Beyond 2020 Spiritual Vision book of affirmations. Today, I give up the idea that I can be misled. With this freedom, I go within for guidance and listen to the great wisdom of Spirit within me. And so it is.
Hey, Center for Spiritual Living family, Bobby Jo Valentine here, and I wanted to offer you a song about peace. This is a song about living in uncertain times, and it's called There Is a Shore. These days I love more than statues, the dancers. These days I love more the questions than answers, like how does a moon look so good over a shore? And why when I see it I don't feel alone anymore? I've wandered far over the hillsides, under the stars, between the headlights, up on the cliffs and down to the freeways below. Oh, and I'm looking for final atonement, joy for the mind, strength for each moment, not just the ones between start and end of a show. I've been brought to my knees, fighting for peace. Oh, what a war. Though there's none I can see, still I believe there is a shore. One day you wake up and ask where the care went. One day you find out no permanent parent. One day you find out even the best things can end. Oh, but still I believe, though the signal is weaker and years have placed static between sound and speaker, still I can hear the song of a forever friend, and I know I'll find it again. I've been brought to my knees, fighting for peace. Oh, what a storm. Though there's none I can see, still I believe there is a shore. There is a shore. And last night I dreamt of a forgotten town, all my lost memories dancing around. And God, she showed up in a gossamer gown. She lifted my head up as I looked down, she lifted my head up and said, "You've been brought to your knees, fighting for peace. Oh, what a war inside you. Oh, what a storm. Though it's hard to believe, deep underneath there is a shore inside you. I've placed a shore inside you. I've placed a shore. So these days I love more than statues, the dancers. These days I love more the questions than answers, like how does a moon look so good over a shore? And why when I see it I don't feel alone anymore?
That was Bobby Jo Valentine again, gifting us with his music, There Is a Shore. I've been talking to a lot of people, like I'm guessing many of you have been, over Zoom, on the phone, text messages, and social media, and I'm really appreciating technology right now, giving us the ability to connect the way it has. And many of the conversations I'm having are also about appreciating the connectedness of all life that we are experiencing right now, and how this global event is uniting us in a way that's truly allowing us to sense our unity, because the entire world is having this experience. The question in my heart is this: is it possible that this experience could bring us together in a new and powerful way, so that we really get how connected we are? So there is some hope in the conversations I'm having. And because we're also experiencing a world trauma, that is also present in the conversations too. Another question in my heart is, how can we take better care of ourselves right now? With the shelter-in-place order, we've had to rapidly adjust to a new normal. And with that comes an opportunity for gentleness with self and with others, while we are learning to hold our expectations of normalcy very lightly, with flexibility and sometimes frustration. There is an opportunity for gentleness and with self and with others, while we're discovering that we really do have different ways of coping, feeling, expressing. And now some of us are spending much more time with each other and our loved ones, and then those differences can bump into each other. Some of my introverted friends report to me that this is not difficult at all. They say, "I love it. I'm cleaning up my garage, I'm gardening, I'm reading," and so on. And some of my extrovert friends and ambivert friends and people who really thrive on and need physical interaction, they're struggling with this. Some of them feel it like an elevated sense of isolation and frustration. So there is an opportunity here for us to be gentle with ourselves and with others when we struggle with adapting our needs and expectations and feelings and thoughts to what is happening in the world. It has been said before that Centers for Spiritual Living attracts people who are nonconformists, independent thinkers, and there is a call in that for us to be gentle with ourselves and with others as we find ways to become rule followers for the greater good, when it's difficult to do so because it may be contrary to our nature. So there's another opportunity for gentleness when our inner rebel wants to act out. Some good tools for me to bring out of the toolbox and polish off and to use more intentionally include the practice of patience or leniency, tolerance. I'm remembering one of my colleagues recently gave an inspired message in which she said, "Never miss the opportunity to keep your mouth closed." Oh, there's some wisdom in that during these times. So I've been finding myself asking silently to myself, does this need to be said? Does this need to be said now? Does this need to be said in this way? Some people have shared with me that they've been on the go nonstop, adjusting to change in family, in schooling, in work environment, in technology, the learning curve, and all of it's taking place in their home. So family dynamics are up, in the shared space. So that all comes into the picture too now. And with it, another opportunity for gentleness with self and with others when our confinement brings out stress and we bump into each other. Another tool from my toolbox that I'm dusting off and using, it's simply called taking a time out. I like going to sit in my garden for a time out. I've got no particular method, and I sit there with no agenda. I just sit. And then I start to become aware of everything that's going on inside of me, all the voices and conversations in there. The other day when it was raining here in Sonoma County, I sat outside under a garden umbrella on the deck, and the rain was very loud, and it acted like a focusing tool. It didn't drown out the noise inside me. It helped me to become more focused on the conversations in my head, and it gave me the opportunity to make friends with some of those voices and notice that they too can benefit from gentleness and understanding. Maybe you know what I mean, because we've all got voices in us, and sometimes, like now, I can get so busy doing things and so busy consuming news, so engaged and so wrapped up that I don't notice all of these voices and these conversations that are there and running me. Or I can say it like this: the conversations in my head can take over and they start running the show, and it becomes difficult for me to listen for new, spirit-given, truth-based, love-centered, hope-filled information. There's nothing wrong with being a fast-paced thinker or a person of action. I am one of those people. And I notice that if I leave that engine running all day and I take it into my sleep at night, I become depleted and less effective and less kind. So there I sat the other day outside in the rain, just sat there, noticing all the voices in my head like old friends. Oh, I know that voice. That's the voice of fear. Oh, I know that voice. That's the voice of optimism. But that voice, that's new. I wonder what it is. And when I sit and listen, I begin to notice that beyond the voices is a thread, a witnessing presence in me, something that is beyond all of the voices in me, like the shore that Bobby Jo Valentine sang to us about today. The best way I can think of describing this experience is like this. I start to watch my thinking. I observe my inner conversations with gentleness, noticing that they are like a family with their own complicated relationships. And this brings to me a beautiful question. What is that something in me that is watching and observing? In the Hindu scriptures, the Kena Upanishads, the student asks the teacher like this: who makes my mind to think? Who fills my body with vitality? Who causes my tongue to speak? Who is that invisible one who sees through my eyes and hears through my ears? And the teacher answers like this: that which makes the tongue speak, but cannot be spoken by the tongue. That which makes the mind think, but cannot be thought by the mind. That which makes the eye see, but cannot be seen by the eye. That which makes the ear hear, but cannot be heard by the ear. That which makes you draw breath, but cannot be drawn by your breath. That is the self indeed. The self is not someone other than you. At the Center for Spiritual Living, we use many names to describe that inner self: the divine mind, the presence, the creative spirit, life, the thing itself, the universal mind. And our founder called it the friend within, and he wrote about it. I've taken what he wrote and adapted it here for us to experience like a meditation. So I invite you to imagine with me that these words are being spoken in your own consciousness by you. You have a friend within you who is closer than your shadow. This friend anticipates your every desire, knows your every need, and governs your every act. This friend is the God within your own soul, the animating presence. This friend within you is infinite, and since it is infinite, it is not limited by previous experiences which you may have had, neither by present conditions, nor passing situations. It has no inherited tendencies. It has never been caught in the mesh of circumstances. It is at all times radiant and free. It is your inner, absolute, and perfect self. This friend within you is different from all other persons, yet united with all. There is some part of you which reaches into the nature of others, thus irresistibly drawing them to you and drawing you to them, connecting all in one complete unity. That friend within you lives in a state of readiness. It is above fear. It is beyond hurt. It is sufficient to itself. The friend within you is a luminous presence, ever more emerging from pure spirit, ever more expanding your consciousness. It is the high counselor, the eternal guide. It is your intellect, the essence of your understanding. And there can be no greater unity than exists between you and this inner friend. It spreads a table before you in the wilderness of human thought. Its cup of joy runs over. It is not altered by disaster or human failure. For when this present experience shall be rolled up like a scroll, it will pass on to new and greater experiences. But today, this friend is here. So trust it then. Trust it today. And you may trust it for all tomorrows yet to come. Possibly it will be difficult for you to believe that there is such a friend. But it is there at the very center of your being, directing your thought and causing you to triumph over every defeat. It is the one within you who keeps silent watch, lifts up your consciousness to the realization that you are forever one with the eternal. I love that last part of that meditation, the call for gentleness again, gentleness with self and others, the acknowledgement that possibly it will be difficult from time to time. And therein is the power of spiritual community. For when it is difficult for one of us, it's easy for another. When one of us is fearful, another one of us will likely be confident. When one of us loses our way, another one holds up the lamp shining the way. So we come together to come home to what we know in our hearts, to lift up our eyes from what is going on to what is calling us forward. not to deny the world, but to bring the outer and the inner into balance. I invite you to take a moment to join me in prayer. There is only one presence, the living Spirit Almighty, in and through all creation, above and below and within, eternal, immortal, the source of all. Through this word of prayer, I identify myself with that as an inheritor of its qualities, its love, as a channel for its creativity, and as a willing, cooperating presence for its guidance. And even as I identify myself with it, I identify everyone who is hearing this message with it also, so that we may lean deeper into our shared experience of the one life. And from this, I realize that something wonderful is happening. The only thing that is happening is the divine life expressing itself. And so I draw upon that for my clarity of thought and for my courage, and I allow myself, standing rooted in this awareness, to imagine a world in which peace and harmony, love and cooperation thrive for the well-being of all beings. I let this and the images that it produces in me saturate my mind and lift me up. And I celebrate that it has happened, that I have taken this time with my friends to know this and to speak this word of prayer. And I'm remembering also the spiritual laws that govern the universe. I release this word of prayer that I'm speaking to that aspect of the divine we call the law, so that I may remember to hold everything lightly and to let it be. And together we say, and so it is. I invite you to let the next breath you take be deeper than the one before, like this. And as you exhale with me, we let that movement of breath make the transition into our time of the offering. I want to also thank you for all of the help that has been sent our way to sustain the center, for the people who have been making donations online and sending in their checks. I also want to let you know that we've got a team of volunteers calling every member of our center community to check in. And most frequently we hear how many people turn to our center for the experience of belonging, for their inspiration, for the reminder of who they are and what lives in them. If you would like to make a donation today, we would be most grateful. You can do that online by visiting our website at www.cslsr.org and clicking on the donate button. Or you can send in a physical check through the mail to Center for Spiritual Living, 2075 Occidental Road, Santa Rosa, California, 95401. And now we have some music from Cricket falling into place.
Everything is falling into place. Mysteries are synchronizing. Life knows what it takes for everything to fall right into place. Ooh. Falling right into place. Trust you've never once made a mistake. Suffering is now dissolving, forgiveness awakes. Trust you've never once made a mistake. Never once, never once a mistake. Everything is falling into place. Mysteries are synchronizing. Life knows what it takes for everything to fall right into place.
Thank you, Cricket, for that beautiful falling into place. I'm so touched by the New Thought musicians who are inspiring our whole movement by sharing their talent and their music. A musician can say more in one verse than a whole sermon can say in 20 minutes, so thank you very much. After our community announcements, we have some more music, and we have a solo cello piece by Valerie Marshall, and it is a beautiful meditation to close our time together. But first, here are your community announcements. If you would like to know more about the Center for Spiritual Living, please visit our website, www.cslsr.org. And remember, after this blessing, we have a beautiful meditation solo cello piece by our member, Valerie Marshall. So know with me right now that you are never alone, that Spirit is where you are, that you have only to look within at any moment to know that you are guided, sustained, and inspired by a presence that expresses its love and creativity in the world through you. In deepest gratitude, let us live our lives accordingly so that in everything that we do and say and think, we honor this presence within. And so it is.
Blessings, everyone. This is a piece of music written for solo cello by Mastak Kamda, based on a poem by Neil Grace called Weep No More, My Child. blessings.